The winds carried whispers across the Aegean Sea, murmurs of a name long erased from scrolls and temples, Asterion. Born of mortal blood yet touched by divine essence, Asterion's fate was carved not by choice but by prophecy. When the world was still young, the gods had sealed away the remnants of the Titans, their bones buried beneath mountains, their voices hushed beneath oceans. Yet the curse of Kronos lingered, an oath that the sons of men and gods alike would one day awaken the remnants of chaos. Asterion was the son of Queen Iphigenia of Thespiae and, though she never spoke it, the god Poseidon himself. His birth was hidden from Olympus, for Hera's wrath was merciless against Zeus's brothers' indiscretions. The boy grew with strength beyond mortals, yet cursed with visions, storms of fire, rivers bleeding into darkness, the faces of gods falling into shadow. By the time he reached manhood, Asterion was haunted by dreams of a labyrinth without walls, an endless plain where voices of the dead beckoned. In those dreams, a name echoed, Nyxera. Nyxera was no mortal. She was born of Nyx, goddess of night, and a forgotten titan whose name was forbidden. Half shadow, half light, she walked the mortal world unseen, feeding on whispers of despair. Yet unlike her mother, she carried sorrow for mankind, not malice. Their paths crossed when Asterion hunted a white stag in the sacred groves of Artemis. As his spear flew, the animal dissolved into smoke, and from it stepped Nyxera. Her eyes shimmered with starlight, and her voice was a blade hidden in silk. The gods have lied to you, son of Poseidon. Your visions are not madness. They are warnings. Asterion did not believe her. Yet in the nights that followed, the same stag appeared in his dreams, leading him deeper into that labyrinth without walls. The nights grew longer as Asterion and Nyxera traveled beyond the boundaries of Greece. The constellations above seemed to shift, as if the stars themselves leaned closer to witness their path. They sought refuge in forgotten sanctuaries, ruins once dedicated to titans, where mortals feared to tread. But Olympus had not forgotten. Hera's spies followed like shadows, and Zeus himself grew restless upon his throne. In council, Athena spoke first. Father, the boy grows stronger. If he unites with the daughter of night, prophecy will awaken. We must guide him before he strays into darkness. But Hera's venom cut across her words. Guide him? He is a disease. I will see his corpse scattered across the sea. Poseidon rose in defiance, his trident striking marble. For the first time in centuries, the throne of the sea god trembled Olympus. He is mine as much as hers. Touch him again, and you will taste the ocean's wrath. The council descended into chaos. Only Zeus remained silent, his eyes like storm clouds heavy with lightning. He remembered Prometheus's whispers, and he knew, prophecy was no longer a distant threat. It lived, it walked. Meanwhile, Asterion and Nyxera reached the Isle of Naxos, where an old priest of Rhea, mother of gods, dwelled in solitude. Bent and blind, the priest touched Asterion's hand and wept. The curse of Kronos burns in your veins. The gods will not tell you this, but your destiny was sealed before your birth. You are not just Poseidon's son. You are the vessel through which the Titans speak. Nyxera pressed him for answers, and the priest revealed what even she did not know. Nyxera was not merely daughter of Nyx, but also the last fragment of Eurython, a Titan who once sought to heal the rift between gods and mortals. Her very existence was a balance between night and light. If she chose Asterion, the chains of Tartarus could be broken. But with choice came price. If the Titans rose, the sky would burn. If the Olympians remained unchallenged, mortals would suffer under endless cycles of war and plague. That night, by the shore, Asterion confronted Nyxera. Do you know what you carry? Do you know what you are? Her eyes shimmered with starlight, but her voice cracked. I am nothing but shadow. All I have is choice. And I choose to walk with you. For the first time, Asterion's rage softened. They stood together as the sea whispered around their feet, the stars reflecting in her eyes. Yet destiny would not grant them peace. Across the sea, Apollo, ever jealous of shadows and prophecy, descended in golden fire. His chariot blazed as it cut across the waves, and mortals fell in awe as he rode to Naxos. He demanded Nyxera be surrendered. You are a daughter of darkness. The sun cannot allow you to live. Asterion stood between them, mortal flesh against divine fire. Their clash split the heavens. Apollo's arrows rained like falling stars, while Asterion wielded the waves themselves. When Apollo's last strike would have ended him, Nyxera raised her hands, and the night itself swallowed the sun. For one breathless moment, the world was cast into eclipse. The gods trembled, mortals screamed, and Apollo, blinded by darkness, faltered. When light returned, Nyxera collapsed into Asterion's arms, her body trembling. Her power had awakened, far greater than she had ever known. Apollo fled, not in shame, but in fury. He swore before Olympus. The balance has broken. If Zeus will not act, then I will. In Tartarus, the Titans stirred. Kronos' voice rumbled like earthquakes beneath the earth. The chains weaken. The vessel awakens. Soon, my children, soon. Prometheus, bound and bleeding, smiled through his agony. Yes, let them rise. But the boy will choose. And choice is what the gods fear most. Word of the eclipse spread like wildfire. Temples cracked with uncertainty, priests faltered, and mortals whispered prayers to neither Olympus nor Tartarus but to Asterion himself. This terrified the gods most of all. For in every age, gods drew power from belief. And now, belief shifted. Zeus summoned his thunder. Athena appeared to Asterion in disguise, cloaked as a traveler. She did not threaten, nor deceive, but spoke plainly. You think Olympus only fears the Titans. But what they fear most is you. Not your blood, not your strength, but your choice. Will you destroy what you love to free what you do not know? Or will you enslave mortals to save them from themselves? Asterion, wearied and torn, asked, What would you have me do? Her eyes, gray as storm clouds, softened. Remember that gods lie, Titans hunger, but mortals endure. If you choose for yourself, you may yet save all. When she left, Nyxera warned him, Do not trust her. The gods always weave truth into snares. But Asterion felt something shift in his heart. Perhaps fate was not an unbreakable chain. Perhaps he could forge his own path. Yet fate had already begun its final weave. Hera, unwilling to wait, unleashed the Erinyes, the Furies born of blood and vengeance. They descended upon Naxos in a storm of shrieks and fire, wings blacker than night. Mortals tore their eyes from the sky in terror. Asterion fought, waves rising like walls, Nyxera wielding shadow like blades. But for each fury struck down, two more appeared. Their venom seared flesh, their claws ripped stone. At last, in desperation, Asterion called upon the sea with all his blood. A tidal wave the size of mountains swallowed the island, drowning land and fury alike. When silence fell, Naxos was gone. Only fragments of rock remained, floating upon a boiling sea. Asterion and Nyxera clung to life upon a shattered column, bloodied and broken. As dawn broke, Asterion wept, not for himself, but for the thousands who had perished with the island. His power had saved him, but condemned the innocent. Nyxera took his hand, her voice steady though her body trembled. The gods have made you their weapon. But you are not theirs. You are mine, and I am yours. But high on Olympus, Zeus rose at last. His eyes burned with storms. Meanwhile, on Olympus, Zeus himself had begun to sense the shifting tides. The chains of the Titans rattled faintly in Tartarus. Prometheus, bound in agony, whispered to the eagle that devoured his liver, "The son of sea and queen shall unearth the buried. And the daughter of night shall choose whether the sky burns or the earth weeps." Hermes carried these whispers to Zeus, and Hera's suspicion grew. She sent her emissaries, harpies cloaked in mortal guise, to watch the mortal lands. And in Delphi, the Pythia prophesied before a shivering crowd, "Beware the child of storm and shadow. For when their hands meet, Olympus shall tremble." Asterian's fate began its turning when Thespiae was struck by plague. Crops failed, rivers blackened. Priests claimed it was Apollo's wrath, but Nyxera appeared to Asterion again, telling him the truth. It is no plague. It is the blood of the Titans seeping through the earth. Their prison weakens, and the gods will sacrifice your people before they admit their fear. Driven by rage and loyalty to his people, Asterion marched to Delphi to demand answers. The oracle, veiled in smoke, shivered at his presence. When he touched the sacred tripod, the fumes erupted, and a voice older than gods thundered through him. You are the key, you are the curse. Release us, and the sky shall shatter. Resist us, and you shall destroy all you love. Shaken, Asterion left Delphi, only to find Nyxera waiting outside. She told him she too was hunted, by gods, mortals, and shadows alike. Though trust was brittle between them, both understood they were bound by fate. But Olympus would not wait. Hera sent Ares, god of war, to eliminate the boy before prophecy could take root. Ares descended like fire on Thespiae, burning fields, cutting soldiers as though they were wheat. Asterion stood before him, mortal blood against godhood. Their battle shook the plains. Ares laughed as his spear split the earth. Yet when Asterion's fury reached its peak, the sea itself rose inland, crashing like a god's roar. Poseidon had not come, but Asterion had awakened his blood. The waves struck Ares down, not in defeat but in warning. Ares retreated, snarling, "You are not yet worth my blade. But when Olympus calls, I will return." Exiled, hunted, and broken, Asterion fled with Nyxera. Together they crossed ruined temples, silent valleys, and the whispering shores of the Aegean. Along their journey, Nyxera revealed fragments of the truth. The Titans were not wholly evil, some had sought to preserve balance. The Olympians had rewritten history, branding themselves saviors. Asterion's blood was the bridge, and hers was the key to open the chains. But with each revelation, Asterion felt the weight of prophecy crush his chest. If he chose wrong, all would fall, Olympus, mortals, even Nyxera herself. And in the night, as he dreamt again of the labyrinth without walls, he saw not only the Titans but also the gods, Zeus, Poseidon, Hera, all kneeling in chains of fire. The labyrinth whispered again, "Choose, son of the storm. Choose." Asterian's roar shook the heavens. His grief turned to storm, his storm turned to cataclysm. The sea rose like a wall, the earth split, the stars dimmed. The labyrinth exploded outward, chains shattering. From the pit, the titans rose, not free, but awake. Their eyes burned with hunger. Kronos' voice thundered. The boy is ours. The age of gods ends tonight. But Asterion, cradling Nyxara's fading body, defied them all. No, the age of chains ends tonight. With every shred of his strength, he poured his blood into the sea, into the storm, into Nyxara's heart. The trident shattered, the sea screamed, the labyrinth collapsed. Asterion sacrificed not only himself, but his essence. The explosion tore sky from earth. Olympus shook, Tartarus cracked, the voices of titans and gods alike were drowned in a silence so vast it swallowed creation. When dawn rose, Crete was gone. Olympus stood fractured, Tartarus sealed once more. The gods survived, weakened. The titans slept again, restless but bound. And Asterion? Gone. Or so it seemed. In the centuries that followed, mortals whispered of a figure who walked between sea and shadow, a guardian unseen. They called him the storm in silence. Some said he lived, bound not to Olympus nor Tartarus, but to Nyxara's soul in the starlit night. Prometheus, still chained, laughed through his pain. He chose, and in his choice, both gods and titans were broken. Perhaps, at last, mankind may be free. But not all gods obeyed. Athena descended unseen, whispering counsel to mortals to hide, to endure. Poseidon raged in the seas, torn by oaths. And in the deepest caves, Hades stirred, silent yet watchful, for the dead were swelling in numbers. Back in Crete, the labyrinth writhed alive. Each step Asterion took, walls shifted, corridors stretched, and voices multiplied. The dead of Naxos, drowned by his hand, appeared before him, faces of men, women, children. Why did you save yourself and not us? Why does prophecy demand our death for your survival? Asterion fell to his knees. The weight crushed him more than any god's wrath. Nyxara grasped his face. Listen to me, you are not their murderer. You are their hope. If you give in now, their deaths are for nothing. But even as she spoke, the labyrinth revealed its heart. A pit of fire, Tartarus bleeding into the mortal world. Chains the size of mountains stretched into its depths, glowing red, snapping one by one. And from its core, the titans roared. Olympus descended. Zeus himself struck the island, his lightning-splitting mountains. Hera shrieked commands, Ares charged like wildfire. The labyrinth shuddered under divine assault. Asterion rose, trident of Poseidon forming from water itself in his hands. Beside him, Nyxara unfurled wings of shadow, her starlight burning with defiance. The War of Ages began. Ares clashed with Asterion, steel and storm colliding, earth quaking with each strike. Apollo loosed arrows of fire, only for Nyxara to swallow them in darkness. Hera unleashed serpents of vengeance, but the shadows devoured them whole. The mortals of Crete watched from afar as their island burned, caught between gods and titans. At last, Zeus descended, master bolt in hand. His eyes were not fury, they were sorrow. Son, you were never meant to exist. Forgive me. He hurled the bolt, faster than thought, brighter than suns. Asterion raised his trident, but even his strength could not withstand Olympus itself. Nyxera screamed, throwing herself before him. The bolt struck her, piercing shadow and starlight. For a heartbeat, the world went silent. Then Nyxera fell. The skies above Greece split with fire. Thunder cracked not as storm, but as judgment. Zeus had declared war, not against Titans alone, but against his own blood. Upon Olympus, the gods gathered in dread silence. Hera's lips curved with triumph. Athena's brows furrowed with unspoken concern. Ares sharpened his blade with anticipation. Poseidon stood apart, silent, trident in hand, torn between love for his son and loyalty to the throne. Hermes whispered to Demeter, "The storm is here, and even the gods may not survive its tide." Far below, Asterion and Nyxera washed ashore upon the jagged rocks of Crete. The island was haunted by ruins of the old Minoans, labyrinths of broken stone, statues with hollow eyes. Here, as if by cruel fate, Asterion's dreams became flesh. The labyrinth without walls spread before him. Voices echoed in the corridors of ruin. Shadows shaped themselves into figures. Titans bound in chains, their faces half hidden, their eyes pleading. From the darkness stepped Kronos himself, vast and terrible, his chains glowing red with the fire of Tartarus. Though bound, his voice shook mountains. Son of the sea, vessel of storm, you are mine. Free me, and Olympus falls. Free me, and the age of Titans returns. Asterion's heart thundered. The ground trembled beneath his feet, his father's blood in his veins roaring for release. Yet Nyxera stood between him and the chained Titan. Listen not. Kronos devours all, children, mortals, gods alike. His freedom is death. But Kronos turned his eyes upon her. Daughter of night, you are no stranger to shadow. Why defend those who would see you burned? Together, we can forge a new cosmos. One where you are queen, and the boy your king. Nyxera faltered. Her shadow form quivered, torn between blood and choice. For the first time, Asterion feared, not Kronos, not Zeus, but the silence in her eyes. Meanwhile, Olympus struck. Zeus hurled his bolts across the Aegean, splitting seas, burning islands. Ares led legions of phantom